YouTube, welcome back. This is the Allegheny Northern in N scale, and you are about to watch the January 2024 layout update. So let's go take a look at what got done in the month of January. Okay, so I had to go in and patch some snow, and the reason I had to come in and patch some snow was because I worked on this track from roughly where the bridge is and the snowplows are all the way over because I was getting some derailments that I shouldn't have gotten, and just you get some snow material gets in between the tracks, and I just wanted to kind of redo that. So I did that, but you'll also notice that you now see some dark scenery there that wasn't there before, and that's because I actually lowered the bench work in this area by about an inch and a half. And the reason I did that was because I had a hump here. So in my figuring, when I built this section of the layout, this was all on a grade, very steady grade, up and to the stairs. Well, I forgot to take into consideration the electrical panel, which I need to get access to. So I ended up having the layout sort of hump up and then hump back down, only to come into this corner and then hump back up again. Well, that didn't really make a whole hell of a lot of sense, so I took that hump out. And so now the layout is flat through here, which has improved operations, but I had to redo some of the scenery. So went in and took care of that. Okay, the next thing I did that wasn't real glamorous, but it was something necessary, was I added this little tiny latch here. And that's because, for some reason, the swing gate has decided that it did not want to stay tight, and so the rails were coming out of alignment, and obviously that was causing derailments here. So, added this, and also added some metal clips instead of a funky wood thing that I had here. So this actually sits on metal clips now. It's a lot more stable and has improved operation. So that was one of those, yeah, it needs done, but I kind of had it on the back burner because I didn't really want to do it. It doesn't really, it's not something that presents well, but it has much improved operations on the layout just because now I don't have to worry about derailments. Okay, so also this month, you saw the previous video of me adding the Easy Come, Easy Go building kits. So we got those built, painted, and set. Obviously, the scenery around here needs completed, but the buildings are in place and ready for further detailing. Okay, this was the big project of the month, and that was the creation of the latest industry on the Allegheny Northern. And as you can see, we made some pretty big strides. So if you recall from an update or two ago, I told you that I purchased some I think it's Pike Stuff buildings, and so here they all are. There's a total of 6 kits that I purchased, and 5 of them are represented here, and the other one is a building that's going to be used in the upper intermodal yard. So we have our office building. We've got a little dumpster here, which the dumpster's pretty cool. And then we've got, so this area, this track is going to be a mixed track sort of deal. So let me show you the building here, and I'll explain to you what's going to come in and what's going to come out. So I gave myself a place to put my heavy hauler. It's going to be going in to pick up some piece of equipment or some piece of steel. There is a sign right there and a sign right there. Those are going to have decals for directional signage. This building has a welding circuit on it, and you can see that there's some cars here that'll be going through the building, and I think I can fit about 4 or 5. So that track goes all the way through the building, so I can fit 4 or 5 cars all the way in there, plus the locomotive that's going to pull them out, which it's kind of cool. And then I'm still working on the building. Obviously, you can see that I've got some scenery stuff that needs to be done here. This is not the final. I painted this, but I'm not going to leave this painted. I'm actually going to use some of that textured AK Interactive stuff in here, concrete and asphalt, to get this built back up. So, and I need to weather the building, and I need to decal the building. I'm not done detailing it yet. So there's a lot of stuff that still needs to happen to the building. But it's sitting in place here because I wanted to sort of do all the scenery. And so I put in some of these low shrubs that I got on Amazon. They're not the greatest quality. So if you're going to do this sort of thing, I would recommend you go with the AK Interactive version, which I showed you in the previous video. They look better and they act better. So just keep that in mind. But they get the job done. And there's going to be other trees in here that aren't in here yet. This is all going to be it's not going to be a grassy field. There's going to be trees here. So this is just to be lower shrubs. So it works for that. These cranes are going to be in here. I don't know where I'm going to set them just yet, but I want them to be lifting steel and stuff onto the roof or around the yard. So I haven't figured out exactly what I'm going to do with them yet, but this is where they're going to reside. And then what's going to happen here is a couple of things. One, I am going to have the scrap gondolas come in, and there's going to be a scrap crane here that can pull that scrap out because that's going to be used in the process of what they're doing here. And then I also have these tanks here, and these tanks are going to contain they're going to receive a tanker car every so often that they can fill into here, and then there's piping that'll go through here, and then obviously there's some tanks in the back here. So this is, if you saw the post in the communities tab, this has been named Rearton Metal. And so that is, Rearton Corporation, and they make Rearton Metal, which is a very special type of metal. And if that sounds familiar to you, it should. It's from an amazing book that if you haven't read it, then I probably know who you voted for. But Rearton Metal is going to be the product that comes out of here. So they're going to get scrap and chemicals in, and then they're going to put out flat cars and coiled cars of Rearton steel that will go to use further on the railroad. So as far as outbound traffic goes, the outbound traffic doesn't have any destination on the layout, so it will go into staging. But the scrap will originate over in the scrap yard and come here, and then the new stuff that's coming out of here will go and go back into staging after it's put into a train. Okay, so you may be asking why this Canadian locomotive is getting so much attention tonight. What's so special about it? Or is there something coming about the Canadian railroads? No. Somebody, one of the viewers had asked to see it pulling a train. And I think that was sometime in either November or December. And I didn't get around to it. So if that was you, that's why I am running the Canadian National. That I don't really have any particular love for Canadian railroads. In fact, I don't have any love for Canadian railroads at all. Not there's anything wrong with Canada. You guys are fine. Just stay up there and don't bring any of your stuff down here. But it's all good. But I do like this locomotive. It was a purchase that I made because I like the locomotive, and even though it doesn't really fit my railroad or anything else, I just think these are cool locomotives. And the only other Canadian locomotive that I plan to add to my roster, and you guys will probably guess this, is the SD40-2 with the wide cab on it, the wide hood. I think those are really cool, and as far as I know, CN is the only one that ever had them. So if I find one of those, I will definitely add it to the railroad. But other than that, I am not purchasing any other Canadian equipment. So, but this guy, he's pretty cool, and he runs great, and he's going to be in local service on the layout. It's an Atlas model. It's got sound, and like I said, it's just it's a pretty cool model. So I enjoy watching it go around, and you'll enjoy in the future here watching it switch some industries. I couldn't blow the horn on the grade crossing because I don't have the controller for this one in my hand. I have I can run 5 trains at one time, but only 4 of them I can run from handhelds, and this one's just happened to be on the just happens to be on the throttle that I am not walking around with. So he's just kind of doing his own thing here, which is why. Also, this month picked up some scale trains locomotives. These are the C39s. They are absolutely gorgeous. You can look at my entire. I'm sorry, these are C38s. These are the latest releases from Scale Trains, and they are absolutely gorgeous. If you want a better look at them, see them running, sound, all that sort of jazz, you can check out the video for them. But they are they're nice locomotives. They run well. I have them here bundled with some other Scale Trains, and yes, that is an Intermountain sitting in the back. But they are very cool. So take a look at those. I do have on pre-order the Atlas, the Scale Trains SD40-2s. I think I put 2 of them on order, but they've got like 4 or 5 road names that I'd like to add, so I might go broke in February. Also, I have seen that the Kato Big Boy with sound is out in certain locations. So that one is also going to get added. I don't know if February is just going to make me broke or if I'm going to space this out, but whatever. A lot of locomotives coming. And, locomotives, let's talk about locomotives. So you will notice that there is a locomotive shortage on my layout, and that is because I pulled a ton of stuff off my layout. I have more to pull off. I'm not done yet, but I pulled off a ton of stuff that I just can't fit and run anymore. It is off the layout. It is going to come back. But for right now, I'm getting some things off the layout. Some of the stuff that's going to come back, I'm going to, it's off for maintenance. It's going to get oiled and greased and all that other stuff. It's going to get couplers changed, whatever, weathered. Some of the other stuff that's off the layout is not coming back. It's some of the rolling stock that I'm upgrading my rolling stock. So if that stuff is just going to end up in a box and eventually be sold. So I need to go through all of that. But it's going to make the layout run a little bit better now that I'm not as cluttered, but I still have more decluttering to do. All right, so a lot of things got done, but that's going to wrap us up here for January. February is it's a long month this year. We get an extra day, leap year, and so we're hoping to get some more things done this month coming up. And like I said, it's going to be a lot of money spent in locomotives, so there won't be any new structures or any great scenery or anything coming up in the next month, because it's going to pretty much all be spent on locomotives, I think, which obviously is not something that I necessarily need more of, but I don't really know if you can get enough locomotives, so we're just going to sort of put up with that as we go here. And I will leave you with one last look of our Canadian National local here before I tuck him away into a siding for a while. And we will see you here next month for the update.